We can at least. All right, we're going to call our meeting to order. Please stand for the pledge of allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You can see that we are all present tonight. Number 2, approval of the agenda. I would entertain a motion.
I move the Board of Education approve the April 20th, 2026 regular Board of Education meeting agenda be approved as printed.
Motion by Mrs. Williams, support by Mrs. Thompson, that the Board of Education approve the April 20th, 2026 regular Board of Education meeting agenda as printed. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion passes. Number 3A, written correspondence. We do not have any. B, Ovid-Elsie personnel. Okay. C, public participation. We do not have any that are related to the agenda. So we'll move to number 4, the consent agenda. You probably noticed that letter H is new for us. Per our policy, we don't actually have to approve resignations, hires, and this can be part of the consent agenda. And we had been asking to see what positions we were hiring for that we had open and posted. So it's on a tab in our live binder, and going forward, we'll have that there so we can see all of those things. So I'd entertain a motion.
I move the Board of Education approve the consent agenda as presented.
Okay, motion by Mrs. Thompson, support by Mr. Nash, that we approve the consent agenda as presented. There'll be a roll call vote. Dr. Huff?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mrs. Greer?
Yes.
Mrs. Williams?
Yes.
Mrs. Thompson?
Yes.
Mr. Nash?
Yes.
Okay, motion passes. And Penny, we were too quick for you.
No.
Did you want mine to go first, or stay on one stay?
Well, she's got to leave to get to another district, so that's the only reason.
I'll be quick.
You bet.
Thank you.
It's a busy time of year.
All right. So I'm going to ask you to take one and pass it down, please. So it's nice to see all of you again this evening. So what you have in your packets, we will be going over the final report, which is on the right-hand side of your packet. You have all the slides for that. Also in your packet, you just have like a calendar of some of the upcoming trainings that's being offered. On the left pocket of your folder is the 2-page or 1-page front and back of our strategic planning work. And then you also have all of the notes from the retreat, that full day Saturday, in there as well. And the last item you have in your folder is just the ever-encompassing full summary that each and every one of you can have. Keep a copy. MASB always keeps a copy on file as well. So just in case, you know. All right, here we go. So, for those of you in the audience, strategic planning has been taking place for the past 7 months with the district, and we have recently completed a full-day retreat. This was a Saturday, and I came back and worked with our administrative team just a few days ago, actually. We had 192 responses to the electronic survey that was available on the district's webpage, as well as some face-to-face sessions that took place. Again, that retreat took place, it's in November, I think that date is wrong. Here's some photos, I was capturing photos of our teams throughout that full-day retreat. We had a great team, they worked hard. This is just one of the activities that took place. We talked about environmental scanning. Another activity where we concentrated on the 5 target areas, talked about academics, talked about the learning environment, how we communicate, community engagement, came up with some ideas for personnel as well as operations. And then the folks in the retreat were able to vote where they thought we should be spending some more time and effort. A great photo of our entire gang that day. All right, here is just a name of, we had 44 participants in the retreat. So there are everyone's names. So this is the vision that the team came up with. Would one of you care to read it out loud, please?
Every student is knowledgeable. Oh, do you want me to start? Oh, okay, the vision of Ovid-Elsie area schools. Every student is knowledgeable and prepared to navigate the challenges of tomorrow.
So that is the vision that those 44 participants agreed to at the end of the day. And then, who would like to read the mission of Ovid-Elsie area schools?
The mission of Ovid-Elsie area schools, we provide the resources and opportunities to empower our students, staff, and community to grow without limits.
All right, and we also generated 5 belief statements, which the district didn't have prior. All right, so I'm gonna ask, I'm just gonna start right here with Mr. Nash. Would you read the top bullet, please? We believe.
We believe all students can learn and succeed.
We believe strong relationships between students, staff, families, and communities are the foundations to student success.
We believe all students deserve access to the tools and resources to help them learn and succeed.
We believe success is earned through hard work.
You can pass down.
Would you do the last one
We
first?
believe through collaboration and engagement among students, staff, families, and the community, we impact and drive meaningful growth.
So I'm going to be very transparent with the board here. We did, when I came back to the implementation team day, we did change one word. And that was, we added growth, where originally it said change. I thought change had a little maybe more negative connotation to it. And so there was one change from our work on Saturday. And as a reminder, we came up also with the 5 target areas. The first one had to do with the academic and programs. We had a learning environment and culture target statement. This was our community engagement, communication target statement. We also had one on operations and finance, and the last one had to do with personnel. All right, and that was our implementation day, where they took those target statements and came up with, okay, what are we gonna do this next year to make those come to life? So again, some activities took place. We started to quarter things out, like what can we do from July to September of this year, October to December, January to March of next year, and April to June. So started to do some of that work. All of these notes have been provided to the superintendent and the team. So we will be asking the board tonight to adopt vision, mission, belief statements, as well as these 5 target statements. The objectives, as a reminder, those belong to your superintendent and his team. Okay, because those can be tweaked and varied, but these are your overarching umbrella statements. Okay? So you can see kind of what they were thinking about coming up with as far as the objectives. So we do share all of that information as well. And this was your third one, community engagement, looking into a feedback loop, consolidating some forms, finance and operation, just looking at investing in equipment, maybe maintaining what we have, coming up with a plan, just like maybe you would in your home, right? Like, what do we gotta look at replacing or repairing 3 years from now, 5 years from now? And then personnel, developing guidelines for onboarding staff. And I always encourage to include school board in there as well. All right. So, again, those are our 4 areas that MASB does ask our school boards to formally adopt. Some will adopt tonight. Some, just depends on your group, right? We'll hold for a month, but we don't recommend you wait any longer than that. Especially in the spring, the hope and the goal is that your team, your administrative team, your teacher leaders can start to use the target statements that were developed in their school improvement planning. And a lot of that is due to the state at the end of June.
So can I just have you reiterate, because I did get this question from a board member.
Okay.
So the 4 that you just had up, the vision, the mission, the
Yep.
belief, and the target, that is all the work we already did
Yep.
with our community.
Yep.
But all of the other priorities are fluid in how they're going to do it. Yes, there's ideas, but those are fluid. Like, that's not part of what we need to approve.
These objectives?
Yes.
These objectives they're not part of the approval. Okay, remember, this is board work, and then this is your superintendent and his team's work. Okay,
Thank you.
you're welcome. So again, you are approving what the retreat team created, what you've read aloud tonight, the district's vision statement, the mission statement, the belief statements, and the 5 target statements. All right. And so this is just a little quick, back in the day, right, school improvement, state would provide monies, and then it was kind of, where's our needs? MyKIP, which is the state school improvement plan currently, wants you to address your needs first. And then based on funding that comes in, you're coordinating funds. And again, this is an old graphic for how school improvement processes were done. This is the graphic that is currently used by the state of Michigan. And what's on the outside of the graphic?
Vision, mission,
And that's where you come in as a board, right? Because without those things, this inside, it doesn't hold it together. So the board is responsible, again, for that outside circle. And then this is taking place within the buildings, the district, and such. And again, just another way to think about it. It's all these systems thinking, right? So it's kind of like thinking about building your home and such. Like the board would be responsible for the electrical and the plumbing, all of those entities they get everywhere. But then, our superintendent and their team might be responsible for picking the color that they're going to paint inside. But you're responsible for all those system areas. All right, just another old slide here about school improvement. So, ensuring success. right? The intent, and I've already talked to your superintendent, building leaders, it's important that our strategic plan starts to align with this MyKIP plan. So they're not, one of those check, okay, we got it done, and it gets filed away, right? It helps to generate those conversations along the way with the intent, right? That we're also looking and starting to talk about our budget that you approve along the way. A suggestion, right, to keep this in front of you is maybe we develop a monitoring calendar where you want to start to see, what's happening along the way. I'll be honest also, when you have one employee to evaluate, and a lot of boards start to tie the strategic plan work into that evaluation process as well. How are we gonna share this out? And your administrative team has started to talk about that a little bit. Like, we had some parents that came to those community sessions, and they're like, well, how are we gonna find out what happened? What's the end result of all of this? So, there has to be some talk about how are we gonna share this with our staff and get buy-in? How are we gonna share this with the community? Schedule the annual review. We do recommend that annually it is looked at. I can come back out, other consultants can come back out, or your team is certainly capable of doing like the second year's work on their own as well. And I have seen, like, even some boards will start to take like their board agenda and start to put right on their board agenda, like, okay, where does this fit? Which of the 5 target areas in our strategic plan do these items on our agenda meet? Just another way to keep drawing you back. So I just want to say thank you to all of you, the team, 44 people that spent the day working on all of this. It was a pretty smooth process with the group, and I can't always say that along the way, but we got a lot of work done that way, or that day, and I have nothing but confidence that you're going to be able to pull this off and move the district forward. So you all have my contact information. Reach out at any time if you have questions or thoughts. So on that note,
I'd just like to thank Penny for the time she put in. You kept us on track. You still allowed us to have productive conversations as needed, and so we appreciate that.
yeah, I mean, it's just one, we don't have a lot of time, right, in the day to sit down and talk about the things we need to talk about. And yeah, you made good use of time that day. So thank you. Yeah, okay.
Thank you, Penny.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
All right, on to letter B, graduation.
Is it graduation? Am I supposed to talk about that?
Top honor scholars?
Yeah, graduation will be, as it says there, Sunday, May 17th at 2. We'll tell all the kids to show up around 1. We invite all of you to be there. We hope that you're gonna be there. If you're not, that's okay. And we'll try not to leave anybody's names off the graduation list like we have in the past. We only screwed that up once. All right. Well, I'd like to announce our top 10 honor scholar. This year we have a little bit of a conflicting makeup soccer game, so some of our kids are at that and some of our students are at baseball. So I'm just gonna read the kids' names, I think, that are here. Maybe I'll do that, and then I'll read the rest of that. Or do you want me to read it in order that you have?
You can do it if you would like to.
Oh, you got it right there in order? All right, we'll just do that.
We'll just shake hands.
Okay, so students, after I announce your name, would you go, with the exception of Doc Huff, would you shake hands with all the board members and kind of make your way, and then we'll do a quick picture, but we'll probably get a picture tomorrow when all the kids are able to be there. All right, first up is Selena Arbogast. All right, Jackson Custer. Gavin Chadwick. Nolan Rash. Lillian Kennedy. Vance Duray. Then we have Lillian Bates, who I believe is at soccer. Daniel Tobbing, who I believe is at baseball. Sarah Newman, who is at soccer, playing goalie. And then Allison Moore, who is also playing soccer. And those are our top 10. So, don't worry about bringing these tomorrow, we'll take the picture of that.
All right, and Mary, did you want to say anything or introduce, did you say you have students here too?
I do. I have two seniors right here, two of our face-to-face seniors that will be graduating. The alternative high school graduation is Thursday, May 21st at 7 p.m. with students arriving at 6:30.
All right, thank you. And we won't make any of you stay for the rest of our fun, so if you would like to, student, if you would like to stay, you are more than welcome.
They have to stay.
I thought it was security.
All right, so we're on to letter C, superintendent report.
All right, I just want to mention that tomorrow will be an early release day to change our schedule to allow staff and students the opportunity to attend the funeral service for Doug Long. And also mention that there are 2 seats available for the upcoming school board election this fall. The deadline is Tuesday, July 21st, and the applications are available in the admin office or in the at the Clinton County Clerk's office.
But they do have to be turned in by 4 p.m. at the Clinton County Clerk's office.
Yes.
That's it? Okay, on to old business, letter A, Business Office Procedures and Federal Awards Administration Manual. I make a motion that the Board of Education approve the current Business Office Procedures and Federal Awards Administration Manual as updated and presented in our binder.
Support.
Okay, so we have a motion and support, so now we can have discussion.
And just after reviewing the procedure manual and some concerns brought to, I can't support it because it doesn't follow our policy. Internal controls 6111. And there's a law associated with the policy, and it expects the standards of the concerns that were raised to be lifted to meet those standards according to the framework from the Green Book or the COSO. So, I don't know if anybody else has any.
Well, I am in support of moving forward with this. We did not have this for any background needed. This was something in our audit last year that was recommended to create so that we would have written down procedures. If anyone else came and was employed in our business office, here's how we do things at Ovid-Elsie with the number of staff we have. So this manual was presented to us, and after meeting with Superintendent Borak and Katie Kushner, our business manager, and I know Becca worked on it, it was explained that This is also something that was worked on with CC Risa and Lori Shomish. And Mr. Horak approves this as it is right now. And if we approve it, then it was shared that they're already starting to review things for our audit, but we need to approve something for our audit this summer. And then instead of paying for someone to go through it right now, Yo and Yo will review it as part of our audit and give us revisions that they recommend. If they think things aren't best practices, they will note them. And then we can plan to look at the professional opinions done by auditors and any other things that we would like to look at making changes for after they're presented in October. And I know that I had 3 different emails with different concerns, and I've been very honest, this is not my area of expertise. So I did take, not the manual, because we're not asking an auditor to, but I did take the concerns that were presented and showed them to a CPA and an auditor. And at this point, there were a few minor things that, like typos and wording, but for right now, there were no glaring issues from what we had said. We're not accountants, but whatever was brought in those about making changes, they felt that it was the best idea to move forward with the auditors revisiting it, and then we don't incur extra costs. So that's where I'm at with it.
So it's my understanding that when somebody audits, they audit just pieces, and when something says board approved, they have expected us to make sure that the things in here align with our policies.
What do you?
So it's just sampling. It's not always, they're not checking the policy, our policies to the manual.
Well, again, I'm not sure, I'd have to read that policy, you referred to the number to.
Yeah, I have it right here.
But I do know that our model or our policy manual is modeled after CC Risa's format, and they've reviewed it. And I'm in agreement too that, is it perfect? Probably not, but it is something we need to put in place. It was recommended in our last audit, and if we have it in place and board approved, then Yo and Yo, our auditor, will be able to look at it and give us feedback on what may need to be changed. But if it's not in place, then it could be deemed a finding in our audit, which could actually hurt us in the future if we were to go for a bond renewal, and that could affect our credit rating.
Well, we don't have to approve it till June 30th, right? And these concerns have been, it's not like they were just brought up today. There's been several weeks. When you read through the COSO in the Green Book, there's an expectation for us to have that standard, and it references the federal law, and I just can't support something that if something was to happen, we didn't even do the baseline of what we were asked to, that our policy reflects. So that's just me. So those are the reasons it doesn't follow the law or our policy.
Well, based on CC Risa and Lori helping to write this, it does. Like, it's okay for us to use this as a guide.
They're lawyers?
No, but we're not accountants either. So
No,
like,
well, I
we call
can
the lawyer
read-
when we have a legal problem. We call
Well,
the
I
doctor.
can read what the policy says, that we should, with the guidance and standards of the internal controls in the federal government. The law with the policy is CFR 200.303. It requires non-federal entities like school districts to establish and maintain effective internal controls over federal awards. It mandates that these controls should align with the COSO framework or the Green Book, which are all these concerns.
And I feel that
So
when
I
the
won't-
auditors go
I'm-
through it, they'll tell us if we're still not in line.
So we're gonna go another 6 more months being,
Nope,
Below
they'll share that
standard?
they're already asking for stuff, even though our
Below-
audit isn't till the summer, like. They
okay,
can
well, I
start-
can't support it because it doesn't support our
That's
policy.
okay,
in my
I'm just sharing.
opinion. So
I
that's,
don't feel, this is not
If
a
we-
day-to-day, we don't approve day-to-day things, so it's not our responsibility.
but we have to approve the manual.
But I'm gonna trust the people that we hired without undermining that, and then go from there with our auditors, because then we have that
It's
opportunity.
we're in charge of the policies, so when something doesn't reflect our policy, then that is our role. In my opinion, in my education. take that?
Well, I will say with nowadays, there's a lot of fraud. And I deal with this, risk management, and talking with the federal management. These are best practices, and I'm very thankful that we got connected with Positive Pay, which is another safety for fraud. And fraud isn't just external, it's also internal. And with the items that was brought to our attentions, it's tightening those controls, so there isn't any fraud internally. And I think that would be for me, I'm elected by my community, I'm trusted with taxpayers' money, and I have to do everything that I should do to support best practices on protecting those funds.
Anyone else, any other discussion?
Just to clarify, obviously, I guess this will be up for review later on, and we can make changes and have things of that nature taken care of.
Yeah, it's a working document. I mean, we don't have a document right now.
Correct.
Haven't had one. And the auditor wanted us to have something in place.
Correct.
So we've got input from CC-RISA, from other districts that have manuals. And so it's been reviewed by different business officials. And that's why I recommend that we do approve this, and that we let our auditors go through it, and make any recommendations on changes at that time.
You had said yourself that maybe it isn't perfect. I guess I would agree. I think there's some holes, maybe a little bit, that maybe we could maybe shore up or patch up. But if this is up for review at a later date, and we can fix those items, I guess I'd be willing to support it to get us to that next step.
And that was the expectation when I talked with Mr. Horak and Katie, was that after we had the auditor check it, that the very next month, like whether it's a work session or attached to our board meeting, that then we all get to see those findings, and then we revisit anything that someone
Very
still
good.
feels.
And this is when, November?
If they come in October, then it'd be very
Right, so this
interesting.
is 6 months.
My worries, concerns is if we have this in place and that's a standard, and if there was a breach, who's reliable for it? We approved it.
We're
I just want to ask a point of clarity, and thank you for getting me this management letter from the audit. So in the written procedures, the auditor's feedback was during our audit procedures, we noted that the school district has procedures in place. However, the written policies are still in the process of being drafted and have not been approved by the Board of Education. So are we approving procedures or are we approving policies? Because it seems to me that in the management letter, the auditors are asking for policies. And from what I understood, the feedback was this was a procedure manual. And if it's a procedure manual, then what I'm fearful of is that the board is getting dragged down into the day-to-day, which is not our lane. That's the superintendent's lane. And once we approve day-to-day procedures, then we're responsible further to make sure those procedures are implemented correctly. And with that comes risk and liability back to the board because we said these procedures met our standard. And with that said, I've been through audits before in my work life. The auditors are gonna come in and they're gonna look at these procedures and see if the staff acted within the procedures. They're not necessarily gonna say, well, we don't think that procedure's good or bad. They're just gonna see if the staff acted within those procedures. So I just want clarity, are we enacting policy here, or are we enacting procedures?
It is a procedure manual, and Katie had a conversation with a rep from Yo and Yo, and they do want, because this involves, our audit and finances, that's why they're requesting board approval. Usually, for this type of thing, board approval doesn't happen, but because it's related to our finances, they recommended, not required, recommended board approval, just so that they know that basically everybody has seen it, and like I said before, it's a working document. document.
But then if we approve this, then we're tied to the implementation of these and the liability that comes along with that as well. Should there be some sort of incident, that's my fear. Additionally, I think that just knowing how auditors work, I think if we agree as a board to revisit it later, that's one thing, but if we're gonna revisit it based on the auditor's feedback, that's something totally different, because they may not give any feedback at all.
They indicated that they would. When Katie had talked to them, they indicated that they would give feedback.
I just feel like it blurs the line between the board's lane of policy, and maybe we should revisit the policies that are cited in there and send that back, those policies that are financial related, back to the finance committee. I just feel like approving a manual that's a day-to-day procedure operational manual blurs the line of the board's responsibility to what should be the superintendent's responsibility.
Dr. Haas, Mr. Miller, anything you want to add to the discussion?
Well, I mean, I think that if Mark and Lori Schumas and all the rest of them have it, they have a whole lot more knowledge on it than I do. And we voted them in, however long ago, and to do the job. And so if they all think that it's a good idea to do, then I say, let's go for it. We can do the what-if scenario all along. And the thing is, just because we read something or we see something and we start thinking about it, doesn't mean that we're experts on it. And that Mark already said that it was it's a flawed document, like every document is at times. But I look at it like, we hired them, we gotta trust them, and so I'm for it.
So what's our role in improving this?
As we get feedback from we will bring that back to the board. But in terms of what they recommended, they said it would be, they recommended board approval on the policy manual just because it's with the business office.
Right, because I fear that when we approve something that goes against our policy, then that falls on our shoulders.
I don't mean to continue to drag it on. I'm just curious though, but October is the soonest we could review that, or
If we get feedback before then, we could do it at the very next
possibly?
meeting.
Okay. fair enough.
And I don't think what the GAAP standards, what we're asking for is that much. I mean, I do it every day in my work. And there's reasons. I mean, it's not like we're picking apart something. This is standards to help strengthen the internal control of finance.
Any other? Okay, so we'll do a roll call vote. Mr. Nash?
Yes.
Hold on, I lost my list. Mrs. Thompson?
No.
Mrs. Williams?
No.
Mrs. Greer?
No.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Dr. Huff?
Yes.
Yes. Motion passes. On to new business. We saw the strategic plan. So she reiterated that we are approving the mission, the vision, and the belief statements that we already created with our community. I'd entertain a motion.
We gotta add the target statements too.
Yes, and the target statements. So I'd entertain a motion that we approve this plan as presented.
I move the Board of Education approve the strategic plan as presented.
Okay. Motion by Mrs. Williams, support by Mrs. Beard, that the Board of Education approve the strategic plan as presented. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion passes. B, 27L, compensation.
Okay, these are one-time funds from the state, well, right now they're one-time funds from the state, I guess we haven't had this year's budget yet. But this money was budgeted for schools, designed for educators, and that definition was left up to the district. And it also has to be bargained and in addition to existing compensation. I worked with all 6 of our bargaining units on this. We've come to the agreement that we believe everybody at Ovid-Elsie is considered an educator, and everybody plays a very important role in the development of our kids. And so this basically takes the funds, and after any required district costs like retirement, FICA, then the remaining funds are distributed equally among staff. And I would ask the board to approve these 6 letter of agreements. They're all identical. And then we would work at distributing the funds.
Entertain a motion?
I move the Board of Education approve the attached letter of agreements with the following bargaining units: Education Association, Bus Driver Association, Food Service Bargaining Unit, Paraprofessional Association, Administrative Assistant Staff, and Maintenance Custodial Association.
Support.
Okay. Motion by Mrs. Thompson, support by Mr. Nash, that the Board of Education approve the attached letter of agreements with the following bargaining units: Education Association, Bus Drivers Association, Food Service Bargaining Unit, Paraprofessional Association, Administrative Assistant Staff, and Maintenance Custodial Association. We're on a roll call. Dr. Huff?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
I abstain.
Mrs. Greer?
Yes.
Mrs. Williams?
Yes.
Mrs. Thompson?
Do I abstain?
You made the motion, so if you
Okay,
abstain, then.
I know.
after the
I just, well,
motion fails.
you brought it up, like, it's.
I know, I didn't think of it either.
I know, I didn't think of it either.
Good call, Josh.
Do you want me
So do we need to,
We have 4 anyway.
to start
go
over
back.
and make a new motion?
Somebody really should make another motion. if she's
I move the
gonna
Board of
abstain.
Education approve the attached letter of agreements with the following bargaining units: Education Association, Bus Drivers Association, Food Service Bargaining Unit, Paraprofessional Association, Administrative Assistant Staff, Maintenance and Custodial Association.
support? Okay, let's do this again. Motion by Mr. Nash, support by Mrs. Greer, that the Board of Education approve the attached letter of agreements with the following bargaining units: Education Association, Bus Drivers Association, Food Service Bargaining Unit, Paraprofessional Association, Administrative Assistant Staff, and Maintenance Custodial Association. Dr. Huff?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Abstain.
Mrs. Greer?
Yes.
Mrs. Thompson?
Yes.
Nope, I mean Mrs. Williams.
Oh, yes.
Mrs. Thompson?
I abstained because of family.
Yes. Mr. Nash?
Yes.
And I abstain, but motion passes. That was so hard, guys. Letter C, the district calendar for 2026-27.
All right, I recommend that the board approve the calendar as was uploaded in the live binder.
I move that the Board of Education approve the 26-27 district calendar as presented.
Support.
Okay, motion by Mr. Miller, I'm sorry, by Mr. Nash, support by Mr. Miller, that the Board of Education approve the 2026-2027 district calendar as presented. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion passes. Now we have the ed
Yep, the
calendar.
last one is our alternative education calendar. It was also uploaded with live binder, and I would ask that that be approved as well.
I move the Board of Education approve the 26-27 alternative education calendar as presented.
Support.
Motion by Mrs. Greer, support by Mr. Nash, that the Board of Education approve the 2026-2027 alternative education calendar as presented. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion passes. Okay, we do have one for additional public participation. Mr. Green?
Hi, everybody. Just wanted to let you know that we do have a public Dale Carnegie course on the calendar for this fall, Tuesday nights. Start September 22nd is the preview. Come check it out. Evening, September 22nd in this room. And anybody associated with the school, we can certainly help with scholarships for anybody that's associated with the school. And teens can also be in that course. And I know I've mentioned before, if we want to think about helping out kids or getting it back into school somewhere, 8th or 9th grade is a great place to do that. Don't take my word for it. This book is about, it's called The Snowball, Warren Buffett and the Business of Life. So this book is all about Warren Buffett's life. And he says that when, this was when he was a kid, he was ill at ease with his peers, desperately wanted people to like him, and especially to not attack him personally. And he wanted some kind of a system to work with people. In his grandfather's house, he read everything he could get his hands on. He read a paper book written by former salesman Dale Carnegie, How to Win Friends and Influence People. He discovered it at age 8 or 9. And said he had thought he had found the truth. This was the system. He felt so disadvantaged socially, he needed a system to sell himself to people, a system he could learn once and use without having to respond in a new way to each changing situation. The rules worked. He gradually worked out for himself that the dark years of junior high, none of us have ever had any of those, were living proof that ignoring Carnegie's rules didn't work. As he started to gain his footing in high school, he continued to practice the rules in encounters with others. Later, he took the class as an adult. He won an award in one class, which gave him the confidence to propose to his wife. And I love this guy that he lives in Omaha, kind of in the same community, the same house, lives a modest life, even though he's about the richest guy in the world. So I do have an appreciation for him. So don't take my word for what I'm bringing to you. This guy also believes in it, and we want to talk some more about that at any time. We talked about all we saw up here with our presentation earlier about what the needs of the kids are and helping them in life. Well, one of the biggest challenges in life is what? Look around, people, right? And so that program definitely can help people be successful, and people are the source of our biggest challenges, but also can be the source of our biggest joys in life. So, and isn't that what we want for our kids, to have a joyful, happy life? Thank you.
Thank you. Can you take other matters which may come before the board, I typed this up, so we're all passing them down, but it's two-sided. And after we did our strategic planning, and some people we mentioned that we had done our own board self-assessment, and we'd gone over the things that were our weakest areas. I went back through because we definitely want to make movement forward on those. So these are just from that entire survey in each area, the ones that we scored ourselves the lowest on. So there are areas that we need to work on improving before we were to take this again in November or whenever we did. And then I highlighted the yellow ones because I felt like we were already starting to do that in our process of the strategic plan. So I just felt like it was important to kind of have this so that we can think about some of these things that we want to get better with and how we can do it maybe with some of the strategic planning things happening. And that being said, when I did meet with Mark, we did talk about, because it's been suggested to have some sort of work session or a facilitator to come and have us sit down, have our administrative team sit down and get on the same page so that we're all working together, not possibly against each other. So there is one, and Dr. Huff and Mr. Miller would have been here before for this, but they have a facilitator come, and I reached out to ask about it, and it's called Effective Governance. And so it's really someone facilitating the conversation between what their role is and what our role is, and if there's anything that we want to speak up on to clear the air, like that's an opportunity. And when I looked at it, it's actually, we got a cost on it, and it was $825. However, for every board member that shows up, MDE reimburses $100. So if we all show up, $700 gets reimbursed, and it would cost our district $125, 3 hours for us to try to work on it. And when I was looking at the leadership things that are at the top of ours, and we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of them. I mean, that's our biggest area that we need to improve on. So this could help us So I just want to throw it out there, see if there was interest, and then if there is, we can try to ask for some dates that might be available for any of us. Like, does that sound like something you feel would be valuable, or no, we just did strategic planning, like, no thank you?
I'm up for it.
So,
I've been, wanting to do the whole committee of the whole meetings, so that might be a good way to
Yes.
kick it off. I don't know.
We were hoping, when we talked about it, we said it would be good to maybe do it before summer, even though we know we're busy, to try to do it so then like we can digest whatever it is that we talk about, learn before we come back and school starts. So I can look and see and ask.
I think it's a good idea.
Okay. That was all I had. Hearing from board members.
I was just gonna mention the committee of the whole again. I think that's a great idea. And I don't know where we are on like a policy committee, but we should be reviewing our policies on a 3 to 5 year rotation. And I think that some of that might help clear up some of this when we can learn and grow and understand our policies together.
You had asked the question earlier, I didn't reply because I figured you might want to ask about the ad hoc committee. So,
Oh,
okay.
yeah, no. What I was gonna say was, I had the opportunity to do the senior mock interviews. I think it was my 3rd year last week. And it's a very rewarding experience if you ever choose to volunteer for it. The seniors looked great. They were dressed appropriately. Their resumes were spot on. I represented my employer in agriculture, so I had 2 students that wanted to go into farm business management and accounting, which if you own an agricultural operation, you know how important that is. And then one was a vet tech. And then the 4th one wanted to be a band teacher. I don't know how I got her, but we agreed that when Mrs. Ignash retires someday, she'll come back to Ovid-Elsie and be our band teacher. But it was a great experience, and the kids they look good, their resumes were good, and they're smart, so it was fun. Good job to Autumn Windsor who organized that.
How many kids interviewed? Do you know?
The senior class, I think it's a requirement, right? I'm looking at Jason. But the thing I noticed this year was there were way more adult, like volunteers, adult interviewers. But what was really cool is I saw some former Ovid-Elsie students who graduated within the last, I'd say, decade, 10 years. So the younger, rather than us older people, the younger entrepreneurs were there. There was a welder, and there was a salon owner for cosmetology. And so it's good to see recent Ovid-Elsie graduates that are being successful in their life come back and do mock interviews. Kind of shows a great example for our students, so.
Yeah, Autumn did a great job trying to match up with their interests in the related fields.
Yeah,
It's helpful.
right.
I guess I forgot to mention, I did go to the NSBA conference in Texas, and it was a very,
What is NSBA?
sorry, National School Board Association. Sorry, I use it like a normal term. And it was really neat to see how other states have the same problems, but they tackle them completely differently, and to have those conversations with other board members. I got to attend a lot of sessions, but one of the biggest things I took away, and actually, one of the sessions I attended was about a board self-assessment. And on here, we are not, one of the things we said we're not very good at is communicating with government on issues dealing with public education. And we get it like in our emails every week, but that was a big part of what they're promoting this year, and being bigger advocates for education at the national and the state level. So that's why I shared the one call to action, and if I see more, I'll share those. But if you ever have free time, it's a really fun place to go. So, anybody else? All right. Entertain a motion?
Move to adjourn.
Support.
All in favor?